Region 8 Board of Education regular meeting of May 18, 2015 to order. And we begin with our call to order and roll call. So on my left with Carol.
O'Shea, Marlboro.
And Leanne over.
I'm sorry. Hebert. I was going to say probation department.
Joe O'Connor, Hebert.
Danny holds my hand over, I was about to say so.
Shannon Wilkins, student representative.
Judy Benson Clark, Marlboro.
Tom Tremont, Hebert.
Bob Swinsky, Superintendent of Schools.
Jane Neal, business manager. Kathleen Line, administrative assistant.
Thank you. That brings us to item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. If you turn around. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to item number 3, public comments. Anyone would like to address the board at this time, please come forward, state your name and town, please. Sure.
My name is Chuck Watt, 8 Gillian Street, Hebron, Connecticut. I know one of your items on the agenda tonight has to do with the contract for the superintendent. And just want to make some personal comments and some things that I've heard from the community, but mostly for myself. First and foremost, I think Dr. Sinsky has done a very good job for the years that he's been here on the RHAM board. I think the contract that you guys are looking at is for extending it to 16 and 17. My feeling is that there's some items that you guys have from the board that are going to last for 4 or 5 years down the road, and we're going to have some brand new superintendents that are going to come in the next 2 to 3 times. And my feeling is that I think it would be good to have a fresh pair of eyes from the RHAM school that would be able to work with the superintendents in the years ahead. I think Bob has served us well, and I thank him very much, but I also think that it would be good to be able to get a fresh pair of eyes on it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none. That brings us to item number 4, additions or deletions to the agenda. Any proposed additions or changes? Okay, hearing none, I'll bring us to item number 5, report of the administration.
First, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to discuss the pricing of the lunch program. I think that included in the packet for the communication indicating that our goal is to continue to have the lunch program continue in a self-supporting way. After the features that we faced this year with eliminating or seriously limiting the snacks that are available to students, with that, we decline in a la carte sales, which means obviously they lost some revenue. So what we're looking to do is to increase the price of the meal by 20 cents, and then down the road when the state budget is finalized, we request to the board that they participate in a healthy snack program. This will be for beginning in the fall of 2015. So we're for 15 and 16 school year.
Any questions?
When would the increase be?
Effective with the opening of schools in August 2015.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Were they mandated or state for the healthy snacks?
The state is mandating healthy snacks, and we're limited to what we can sell as our card items. So that we saw a decrease in revenue. So what we're about is to make up for that, and it could help us further make up for that, participate in the healthy snack program, healthy food program.
So in other words, it's really the state's fault that we're going to go up on the price, really.
Probably.
Yeah, you got to look at it that way, right? So the legislature, make it know that it's their fault, really, as the price sets the law. Might as well lay the blame on the right place, all right? Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? Tom? Any other items? Yes, you're 5.2.
Okay, a report on the FY 14-15 budget, Jake.
As you know, we've
had some changes in the special ed department, and we have an interim special ed director. We have 2 new special education secretaries. So during the course of this budget projection, I haven't felt comfortable with the encumbrances in the budget that pertains to special ed because we have so many new people in the department. So based on that, we're actively going to sit with the special ed department and go through all the purchase orders individually to make sure that the tuitions are accurate and the transportation for the students. So that's it. This budget status currently shows a projected balance of approximately $15,000. As you recall, I believe it was in March, I did a quarterly budget status by the main object codes that are in the board policy. So, and just basically those cover salaries, benefits, purchase services, tuition, and tuition, that's that big one where a lot of tuition costs for special ed. Supplies, property, and then other object codes and other items. So what I did in this projection is listed out currently what the to-date expenditures are, and then projected any future encumbrances I felt were going to occur between now and the end of the school year, and also project any future revenue. Some of the, as I stated in the memo, we've approximately, I've given just a sample of some of the things that we were short in this current budget, and which were in essence made up due to the budget freeze. For example, fuel oil was $84,000 in a deficit. Snow removal was very big, as I've mentioned that quite a few times, approximately $87,000. We had 2 buses, one each for Glastonbury Vocational and one for Wyndham Tech, that were not budgeted in this current fiscal year that we had to hire to transport students. And we had a communications bill through, I can't recall the name of the vendor, but that was in this current year unbudgeted by approximately $40,000. So that said, I thought it best that, as I stated in this memo, I took the capital money that we've been working towards, looking at what we were going to spend on, and even though we've done the research and looked at all the different vendors for the types of things that Dr. Sminsky has said that maybe wants to move forward on freezing those funds until I feel better about where we stand. In addition, this is the time where, based on this quarterly projection, I'm going to request some transfers for the board approve. And the bottom of the memo just states what the transfers are coming from as far as these 7 accounts and where we have the funds to.
I think that one of the things that has concerned us from the beginning of the year, since the beginning of the winter season, was the days of snowfall, particularly northern monsoon that we had this year, and then the severity of the winter. We had budgeted, we had usually a 5-year average, but based on what's happened for the past 2 years, we've had to up that, and we're looking at about 110,000 gallons per season now for the building. And then just a couple things on the transportation. Previously, as you know, Lebanon is a prime vocational agricultural receiving school. But we had 4 students who decided to go to Glastonbury Go Ag. And what happened was that we indicated to the parents that we would be paying the mileage as we had in the past. The parents produced a quota that I shared with the board that required us to provide the bus. The reason for the bus for the Wyndham Tech folks is that what's happened is where the kids live in town has been spread out, and we would have had some, if we didn't put this other bus on, we would have had some kids picking up, getting on the bus at about 5:15 in the morning. So that we've had to make some adjustments because of that. It's not numbers, it's where they live.
Any questions for Bob? Yeah, you.
Or Jane, whichever.
Or Jane, start.
I'm seeing here that the request is to move $216,000 from salaries over to another side. But I'm hearing that interim special ed director, the hiring of the interim special ed director is creating a shortfall. But it appears that we might have a surplus in salaries.
Well, currently, her position is not creating a shortfall. The shortfall, the projected shortfall is probably in those tuition accounts that were budgeted. The excess cost grant anticipated to get another $103,000, and we approximately received $35,000. So that projection of getting this, the remainder of the excess cost fund is obviously short by $7,000. So it's not the salaries, the person's salary that causing the shortfall. It's mainly the tuition from the transportation for the students and for the needs of those special ed students. So until we get a better handle and make sure that the encumbrances are correct, it's best to be really cautious right now because we're getting close to the end of the year. So these transfers really only have to do with on the spreadsheet that shows the different balances. That's all I'm doing because it's requested to have transfers. Right now I project surplus in the salary account, so I'm just moving that surplus over to the other accounts that have shortfall. And if you look at the chart, purchase services, quite a bit of that has to do with the transportation 500s, Object 500s cover transportation. So the shortfall, some of that shortfall is in transportation for special education students as opposed to that tuition column the fourth column.
I guess, and this is your first year, so I'm not correcting this too by any means, but I guess I'm concerned about the fact that we're having traffic issues and where the money for the speed bumps are coming from and where the money for this traffic study is coming from and where the money is coming from for other miscellaneous things, and we never get a real answer. And I guess this is what we're hearing. It's coming out of our capital funds right now, something that we decided not to fund at all for this coming fiscal year. And I just, I'm thinking that this is more of the same, but we're hearing about it now.
I think that looking at the traffic study and the speed bumps, most of those were funded out of the previous fiscal budget. And I think that we have proposed to get into the state, and the senator and representative are working to have a state really fund the reduction of the redoing of the traffic pattern in the school. And as I understand it, if it survives the conference committee, it will be 100% funded by the state. We've tried to address the safety issues as best as possible. Some of them were in the last fiscal budget, and I had to do some in this fiscal budget to ensure safety because of just some issues with parents driving through campus, and that's been a major issue that we've had to tackle. Any other questions for Bob?
I guess I'm going to address the first one, fuel oil. I don't know why we can sit here and tell us we can't understand why. Last year, we looked at this before. Last year we budgeted this year we budgeted $238,888. Last year we had an overage, a shortfall, where we transferred let's call it $95,000, which should have gave us $333,861. So I don't really understand how we can be that far off again in heating oil, number one. I'm going to go back to this last year. We made a move. We transferred $740,000. We're starting to give the perception that we have this surplus of money, but we can move it to wherever we want, and that's not the design. At least from my perspective. We're here to be accountable and show transparency, and I don't think we're really doing that right now. I think we're doing a better job, but I don't think we're really at task. The second thing is the snow removal. I mentioned this the last time. These are snow removal. I have no issues with it. It's an unforeseeable event where I think we should be. We budgeted based on your 5-year average. I can agree with that. However, if we're over $87,000, we should be looking at a supplemental increase to go back to the towns on some of that. We shouldn't have to be finding and taking money from our capital account, which I'm very, I have some serious concerns with that. We worked hard to get that $100,000. It was supposed to go into a capital fund. It somehow ended up in a maintenance fund, and now we're taking that $80,000 that's remainder and we're using it to offset these other items, and that was not the intent. I appreciate what you're telling us, Ms. Neal, but that was not the intent of that money. We spent a lot of time sitting down with Dr. Szymanski, our committee, putting it towards the appropriate, what we thought as a priority. And these are things, again, that have been pushed off for years. We're trying to make some progress and come out of the hole, but now you're going to take this capital funds. That's a maneuver that I would not suggest we go down. I understand you maybe don't have a choice, but that was not the design of those funds, and I think everybody knows that. Does this report include revenue? Because I didn't see any revenue from building revenue. Does it include grants, all the federal and state grants that is we received today?
Correct.
So where is that in here? Did I miss that?
I don't detail that revenue on the sheet. If you look at the line item by object, you have your subtotal, and then it says projected encumbrances. So those are.
Where are you? I'm sorry.
I'm on the second page of the memo.
Yep.
Okay. So on that line, maybe I should explain this a little better. This line item by budget. The first line is the approved budget. Second is adjusted, our year-to-date expenditures, then less our encumbrances that are on the system. So give me a subtotal, then the projected encumbrances, things that aren't on the system yet. Part of that big, if you see that $3 million, those are salaries, if you recall. Payroll is non-encumbered this year on the system. Then we should anticipate about $158,000. And then the projected balance.
Okay, so the anticipated revenue,
So that revenue is the remainder of the excess cost grants that I expect to get in, revenue for a variety of grants. transferring the expenditure to the grant account, for instance, IDEA aids that are now currently being charged to a regular salary account. We have some tuition revenues we anticipate getting through special ed. We have students that we bill tuition for. And just sidetracking on this tuition, just to give you an example of what happens. I'm doing this budget projection last week. I have the special ed secretary calling a town because we know that we're bringing in money from a specific town because they're paying us tuition. So I said, call the town, make sure that the amount of money we're going to get in tuition. Well, from that bubbles up another student that's there that we have to pay tuition for. So here I am, I'm on the phone with the secretary, and then I'm getting a bill from the business manager saying, oh, here you go, $13,000. Didn't know anything about it. It's not coming. Gotta pay for it. So, the budget is a projection. It's fluid. That's what it's about.
And I understand that, but
So that's where that revenue. So the revenue line is all the revenues that I anticipate, that I either know of or anticipate.
pay to
Future,
play.
pay to play, yes, pay to play is approximately right now, $30,000 left than what was projected. So those are things that are taken away from this budget.
Well, that's a subject in itself, right? There's obviously declining, but there's people.
But when you reduce the budget by $130,000, and then you only get 100 back in, it's 30,000 has to be made up somewhere.
Right, I understand.
So that, yes, so short answer is yes. The revenue that I'm fairly confident about is in this projection.
And that, Mike, I guess my direct question was, that revenue is you're not anticipating any other revenue other than maybe the secretary when you're talking about looking for those funds. I mean, the state money, are we looking for, we have all our state grants, everything is better
Our
received.
transportation grant came in, both for excess costs, and agency placement grant came in.
Can you give me a breakdown of what is purchase services? What are these services for $427,000? Because I tried to figure out what that was, where we're coming up short.
Okay, so if you, the purchase services, if you look at the chart, this chart here, all right, purchase services runs through object codes 300 to 500, okay? I also attached an object report that I had run as of the end of the month in April. So if you go, this report is detailed by object. So if you go to page 3, your purchase services start at that 300 object code.
Yep.
And then it includes all of those 300s, excuse me, the 400 objects, water, sewer, refuse, goes into page 4, all those 400 objects. And then we start with our 500 object codes. Telecommunications, software, transportation, etc. So it's quite a large group of accounts by object.
So if I can ask one question, you just said that the transportation grant you said just came in, correct? Recently?
Yes.
So this is showing transportation special ed town 329, 14, I guess. Will that revenue, some of that, or all of it offset any of that?
No, the transportation grant, I believe I offset that transportation grant under a regular,
I'm sorry,
regular
I'm looking at the
transportation.
wrong one, pupil transportation.
Yes.
So will that
So
offset some of that?
that's where that was offset.
So that 329 will change out next
No,
time?
no, it's already offset. It's already been offset.
Already has,
Yes,
329 reflects the grant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to be another one of my questions, but since he's already asked it, why are we $329,000 in deficit for public transportation when we already know what we should be spending on public transportation?
Well,
We had a contract, right? We went out for bid
Bid
on it.
contract. We also have, I just mentioned, we have the Glastonbury, Votech, those transportations that weren't budgeted for, that you have to transport those students.
Those weren't $300,000.
No, I'd have to go through and, look through every single transportation line. I might be happy to do that to explain it better.
Well, I'm just trying, are you anticipating us being $329,000 over budget in transportation, regular student transportation?
Yes. But keep in mind, we have a new chart of accounts. So we're comparing it to old budget items that I'm assuming that when I put the original appropriations in the transportation, that I matched it up appropriately. And it was a little difficult to match up a summary sheet that didn't have true line items compared to what we did. So we put the line items.
But we have 300,000 encumbered. Why?
You have 2 months more of transporting. We've got 10 regular ed buses from one district. We have six buses, I believe, between Andover that we transport for Andover and Hebron. So the encumbrance is to cover those big transportation bills for the remainder of the year. We also have athletics transportation. We have all the field trip transportation.
So that could be a variable or change things is if there were more field trips.
Yeah, but that's not those aren't really the big numbers. The big numbers.
No, but it would affect it.
It could, but it's not, the big numbers are the student that's going to the extra bus that's going to Glastonbury.
Daily, yeah.
That's $60,000. So that leaves you still with $280,000. Then we have a surplus in special ed out of town placement, item 513, for $140,000. So I'm just wondering, these numbers don't make sense to me. We got such a huge deficit, and then a huge surplus in the special ed out of town, and then it goes down to we have tuition, private sources of another $70,000 deficit. And education tuition, another 119,000. I mean, these are some big numbers, and I just don't understand how we could be so as far off.
Just a question. We signed the contract last year, right? We paid, we went out to bid and signed the contract. So when we budgeted for pupil transportation based on the contract. Now, we understand some of the other items, like Charlie said, the transport to Glastonbury. It was a unique item. How did we miss forecast?
Wyndham Tech. So Wyndham Tech's daily, Glastonbury's daily.
We had another student who made the transport to Colchester.
Bacon account.
So that's my question. Is the $300,000 all you need? People that have asked for specialized transportation needs since the budget was done and we didn't know that? Is that
What we did is we took the budget as projecting the contract forward. Then there were other additions on the transportation. And that's what you see before you.
Yeah, I'm most happy to give you a detailed sheet of.
I'm just trying to understand. If it's all
I
specialized
understand, because I'm trying to
transportation.
understand it as well. You have to understand that I came into this. I
No,
came into
understood.
this budget.
So do you need to get back to us, Vendor Fund?
No, right now we're going through, the accounting services, we're directing somebody to go through, let's go through all the transportation POs and make sure that what we have left is what we anticipate spending. The people in the schools who are encumbering
The only
these.
reason I'm asking is when we went through the budget, I don't remember increasing transportation by $300,000 in our budget. Is basically.
I have a big picture question.
Yeah,
Those kinds of questions are done. I'm just curious whether this could actually be accurate. Looking at, and I just emailed this to everybody's emails I could think of on the board, and I send it to everybody. But, looking at 166 towns, and we just sorted this by per pupil. So putting 166, District 12 at 26,137 per pupil cost per year. So this would be 1314. Is it possible that if 166 is the highest, that RHAM is 10 at 12,929, and the very lowest is only hundreds of dollars away? Because if so, I think, my goodness, I can't believe what an amazing education for such a low cost. I mean, maybe this is something that you would have to get back to me on if this could be accurate. But I just find this interesting.
I think one of the things to remember too is that when we appropriated the budget last year, we used the old child accounts. One of Jane's first responsibilities was to take that budget and put it into the new child account and make some assumptions. The way they used to be allocated in the various accounts. Because remember, this just provides you with greater detail.
I don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just trying to figure out if the chart of accounts includes numbers that we didn't anticipate in the chart of accounts, and they're funded now that they weren't in the budget. That's one thing. If we're literally $300,000 under what we had forecasted for pupil transportation, and not only do we have a problem in the current budget year, but we have a problem with our upcoming budget.
No, well, hopefully we don't have a problem with the upcoming budget year, because I didn't just take the number and add percentage to it. I took the new rates for next year, based it on the number of buses we have currently. I think it's about the top of my head, it's 10 for Marlboro and 6 or 7 for the other two towns. So the regular ed transportation, I base that on known buses, known rate for next year.
Right.
I most certainly tell the board what we've spent on transportation, what we have encumbered for transportation, but the budget for transportation is the budget number that I inherited. So is the budget for transportation wrong? I don't know. I didn't develop the budget. I don't know. So that's part of my difficulty.
Right.
There might be some things
I
in
just remember
special
that
ed.
there was some savings we were able to take because of the contract.
For example, nickel/DACA food charges for those buses. That was one savings that we had.
So just the competitive bid itself, I think,
It did as well.
For instance, there may be money in the special ed transportation budget
that's
that
classified.
might belong to regular.
And that's what I'm asking, because
But, I don't know that. I'm trying to go off of the summary sheet when I created these original appropriations.
Right.
I'm not guaranteeing that these original appropriations
Well,
are all accurate.
Well-
Fuel oil, fuel oil is a one-line item. I can see that somebody budgeted X amount of dollars for fuel oil. I put it in the fuel oil. That kind of, I know what they budgeted gallon-wise for fuel oil. And if you think about it, in June, that budget's a year and a half old. They budgeted 80,000 gallons and they already used 103. Nothing was changed. So we started off the year knowing you're probably gonna not have enough money. So that's why there was a budget freeze put on in January.
But we're finding money, like again, we put forth a budget, and I think this is where I'm getting a little bit upset with, is that and this is why we want to have this detail. I mean, this really is about financials. I mean, if we're moving money that we have no idea where we're moving money to, and like, for example, I'm looking at, we found money at $100,000 from the SRO. That if we didn't have that money, we would be I think we're going to be in more in dire straits than we were forecasting. So now I look at the 730 category that you have, equipment, 730, all of these we never budgeted any money for. But yet, I have a question on the changes. What is the 78,335? Where's that number coming from? And then,
Can we do that when we get to that item on the agenda? As an agenda item.
That's your, that's on our way here.
okay.
That's
It's on the
our
agenda.
Reports?
No, it's under an action item. This report is under an action item under 8.8.
Joe, the equipment at 730 and the equipment at $78,000 is the hot water heater that the board approved to transfer money there.
Okay, so
That's why there was never any original appropriation.
I don't want to, if this isn't the appropriate.
Well, no, you can ask the questions. I'm just saying, we're going to go into discussion on these items when we're on the agenda as well. So
Okay.
it's on there for an action item.
I got it, okay.
Any other questions?
I only got one.
Yeah, Tom.
It might seem like a simple question, but when it comes up to transportation, what is our yearly contract? Period. How much do they charge us per year? Basic.
I'd have to go back to the documents, I'd calculate that out.
I don't know off the top of my head.
You got $826,000. That is the actual contract, right?
Well,
I'm gonna say, if you find something simple, I'm just curious now. I mean, the way everybody now extended to $846,000.
you have two main transportation contractors here. You have DATCO and you have First Student. And that's for the main transportation. Then you have Eastbound Supplies Transportation for special services. Haven Transportation provides services for, for special ed or other students that DATCO and First Student either can't do it or it doesn't make sense to have a bus take Carol to one school. So maybe they get a van.
Is that what this adds all up to? I mean, you can have 10 contracts in your hand, as long as it adds up to the bottom figure that we're looking at, that's all. I don't know how many contracts you got. I'm just curious, because everybody's asking all these other questions, but where's the basic? In other words, could you put 10 contracts in front of me, and I myself could add them up and come to these prices?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I can,
No,
the
that's,
rates of the two main bus companies and those contracts
we do have a contract over the price on it, right?
for the two main bus companies. I don't know if they have the contracts for the special ed for East Coast.
Okay, yeah, but when don't get me wrong, we're gonna put a budget in, I mean, I would think I would take those two prices and throw it in the budget. At least those two, right?
I agree, I wasn't here.
Okay.
So.
That's what
I can only do what I can do.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
I'm working with what,
I understand.
If you recall, last year we had an interim business manager who was here part-time, and then we had another business manager that came in to close out the year. So that the business office was in difficult straight last year.
No, I understand, and I'm not trying to be a pain in the arse anymore, but you still must have a contract in
Oh,
the
yeah,
end.
we do have a contract with the vendors.
Okay. You know, and I imagine those are the figures we go on. That's all I'm asking about, you know.
Who
We
goes
can have 20 people approve the board, don't we get a
Who
contract?
is your business manager?
Don Neal fills out the,
That's what I thought.
I'm sorry?
No, that's what I thought. I was just trying to recall correctly.
Let me, Mike,
Then,
Mike's been trying to get it.
Client was the interim.
There's some,
Just remember, we got a couple ways. If we need extra money, we got a couple ways to get it. We can have a district meeting and we can borrow money / referendum, in which case it probably makes it a little harder to borrow more money when we have our capital needs pile up. Or we can do something, the statutes let us do something much like the regular budget process. In which again, you go to a district meeting or a referendum, and if you manage to get it passed, the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance probably wouldn't be too happy because that levy goes to them and they don't have any extra money. Well, you know, the problem is we live hand to mouth. You can't have a rainy day fund with any of our previous surpluses. We can make accounts for them for special purposes, but we just can't have any kind of general fund pile up where we can kind of smooth out some of our bad budget years and unforeseen expenses.
And I would say, you know, I came from 2 different districts, never worked in the region before, never dealt with the levies, that type of thing. And I got to tell you, I never worked for a superintendent who said, you're going to go back to the town and ask them for money. That's not what you do. The job is to manage the budget, the overall budget. I understand that you worked hard on capital projects and somebody else worked hard on school supplies, but the job is to manage the overall budget. And until I'm told, don't worry about it, spend the money, be cautious of how you're spending it. I look at every PO. If somebody says X is broken and the only day it can be fixed is on Saturday and it's a safety issue, I'm not going to say, no, we can't do it. And I think when I told everybody about the budget freeze, the only thing that wasn't frozen was items that dealt with educating students and safety issues. And then there were some things, the hot water heater that went through. The tennis net went through. It's frozen now. So I'm just coming from, you know, a business manager's, you know, this is like your home budget. You know, when you think you're going to go out and put granite counters in, but you just, your furnace died, are you going to buy granite counters because you put it in your budget? No, you've got to make, you know, good interest.
And I think, so we can move this on and continue through the agenda until we get back on the action item. But I don't think anybody's question. I think we're all glad that we're able to see this now. We've never had the benefit of seeing this information.
It's not perfect.
I understand that. But I think you can understand the question.
Oh, I understand.
Plus, this is something that we know we have, like Tom said, we have contracts, fixed prices for probably, what, 80, 90% maybe of it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 70%. When you see it, when I see a number like 329,000, I'm wondering, did we miss not only what special trips that we had to put in transportation for kids out of district that we didn't know about, but how much of that did we miss for our regular contracts? That's my question.
And that's one of the things we're doing now. We're reviewing those purchase orders to make sure that
They were allocated.
that there's something not wrong. There could be, you know, there could be something wrong on a purchase order. I mean,
It just got coded.
you know, yeah. So those are the things we're sort of looking at.
Can you just keep, because I know we don't, you know, we do this quarterly, but can we just kind of keep transportation, since we're on that discussion, give another report maybe at the next meeting, just what's shaken out on that, so we can see that follow through before we get to our next report.
Dave, I know I'm not supposed to speak out from a public comment standpoint. It just is for no good conversation tonight. I know you brought up things that had to do with the weather that occurred this year and the amount that's in there. I would suggest to your board that you may want to investigate for that with the towns to see if there's some available to you for that.
Thank you.
That's just me.
Thank you. We're going to move on to 5.3, RHAM Sports Booster Gift.
Sports Boosters provided us with a map for football attitude for middle school. And I would just like to net it up in these rooms, and I would just like to form a second gift because of the process that could be, which is fortunately accepting any offers that provided to us.
Is that it, Bob?
That's it.
Any presentations from there?
No question.
That brings us to item number 7, committee reports, communications and technology. I know Kevin's not here. I don't think we have a chance to meet with him.
No.
But I think, is our meeting tomorrow? Meeting scheduled tomorrow. Facilities, Joe?
We had a meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I came late to the meeting. We basically went through the list of I think what we talked about to prioritize the capital funds. And I can't think, Carol, what else we discussed them because they come in conservatively to the meeting. And Rich has the minutes. Yeah. So, yeah. Talked about the windows again, and
we talked about there's some good news about the net. Right.
yeah, there's a supposedly was $19,000, but I haven't seen that quote on that, so.
The possibility there's a different way of approaching this structure.
The tennis courts.
The tennis net, yes, we went to other, we actually found a vendor at the conference that Ed and I go to, and it looks like they're much less than what whomever, I don't know who came up with the first price for the net.
I think that was pretty much it. Other than the Windows thing, that the update for the Windows was that, I think Dr. Saminsky we're looking at going into the next step, which is having the attorney prepare a summary, a financial summary to what it's going to take us to get to the next level.
I think we just talked about that next step in executive session.
Okay. That's it, Dan.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Moving on, let's see, that was facilities policy. Policy did meet. There's a number of items that are on the agenda tonight, several first reading, second reading, third reading, so most of those items were included in your budget packet, so we'll discuss those when we get to that line. Program? Program did not meet.
When is the last time that committee met?
It was last month. There was a meeting, which, was it this meeting?
Guidance survey.
And that meeting, yes.
Do you have any idea when that's going to be coming? Is that discussed?
Can you, would you like to share that information? Because Mrs. Spearman was there with Dr. Saminsky.
My understanding is it's going to be ready as school closed.
By the end of the school year?
It was, I don't want to misspeak, but what was shared at that meeting was different than some of what I had heard at board meetings. So I think maybe it would be good when that's shared, just for who does a presentation, to just give kind of a chronology and a factual accounting of kind of what occurred when. I think for just all of our knowledge, that would be helpful, if possible. Thank you.
Negotiations committee, we'll be talking about that in executive session. Athletic and extracurricular activities.
We have no meeting.
Finance, audit, and compliance and insurance. The committee met 2.5 weeks ago. We discussed the insurance agreement, purchasing alliance, if you will, with Andover, Heber, Marlboro, and RHAM, and I guess AHM is being revisited, updated, if you will. So the committee met and shared with Bob some recommendations, and I think some of those recommendations from a wish list included at least a request that RHAM had at least 2 representatives on the committee, so that each entity that's participating in the alliance have two representatives there. I believe another one was that we request that if one of our standing members or a standing member cannot be there, they can have someone vote in their behalf or dedicate a person to fill in for them that has the authority to represent their specific government, department, agency, whatever.
There were 2 others. One is that the board asked that whatever agreement was finalized that be reviewed by the council so that it can be reviewed through the lens of the regional school district, and that we can address it in the presentation to the board meeting.
So at some point that agreement's going to come back for board approval. Just so everyone knows, I guess, I mean, we talked about it in the committee. Bob's been getting some pushback from the committee that they're not happy with the fact that that the board had once, or at least the consensus of the board, was that we wanted to be able to approve whatever binding alliance agreement or whatever we're going to sign into since it's such an important transaction. So there's been a little bit pushback from that. So that was one of the items we talked to. The other was the transfers, which we talked about a little bit earlier under the the administration's report, and we'll be talking about under item, I think, 8.8 tonight. And that was, right, we would mention about Brown and Brown, it's that there is a change in brokerage arrangement, or at least they're considering it.
That we start on July 1st, and we'll be working with them, because with the transition taking place after July 1st, they have to put some systems in place, and since they're going to be their systems, we have to put them in place. And I think, the update I sent the board, some of the steps that we've taken, or will be taken, over the next couple of weeks to keep people in contact with health. We're going to be starting with a meeting with the staff. And one of the things I like about is they provide the staff with the call, so if they have any questions at any time, you call them, go online, and there's some frequently asked questions that we respond to.
Is there student report? Shannon, take it somewhere else.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Well, the school year is coming to a close with graduation.
That's not nice.
Well, it was nice for me. With graduation is in exactly a month, in June 18th, which is very exciting. And AP season kind of just ended. Now we're in makeup season. That was last week. Right now we're doing testing. I think it's smarter balance testing, and so those are in the mornings. From what even though they're a necessary evil, from what I've heard, they've been going pretty smoothly, so that's good. And the seniors also get to come in at 9:45, so that's a plus as well. Let's see. Also, Special Olympics was held this weekend. I saw Team RHAM there, and they all did fabulously. A really, really nice turnout of Team RHAM. There was a lot of yellow jerseys that I saw, so that was really nice. And also, I just wanted to give some recognition to the Social Studies Department, because they are all a fabulous department, really involved with the students, and not only just the educational standpoint, which they do a really good job with, but they all care really a lot about each individual student. So I thought it'd be a nice thing to acknowledge the board.
Anything else?
No.
You still have one more meeting, right?
I think, well, I'm not sure.
When was our last meeting?
I found out about this meeting today.
Is it after graduation?
I'm not really sure. I don't know. Is it after graduation?
Well, I think it's the week, Monday of graduation.
Monday of the week of?
Yeah.
The week of, yeah.
It's graduation.
Yeah.
7.
No.
I don't know.
So we have to hold you grades if you don't. You have to.
I'll try.
The transcripts will look out. Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to the facilitators report. Educational Foundation. Was anyone at this spelling bee? There was a number, I know Dave was, right? Dave was at the spelling bee. Was that
We
it?
had various teams.
Yeah, I heard there was some dissension on the outcome or something.
I think you have to ask the gentleman in the shirt over there.
There was a little controversy. One of the words was spelled wrong on the sheet. I used the sheet from the person TJ used to dress up in costumes and stuff. And but two teams actually got it wrong, or got it right but got it wrong. And then they went on to the next round. And eventually the teachers who had won previous several years did not prevail this time. So another team had won. And there's a little bit of controversy, but I haven't seen any. They wanted a dual trophy, but I hadn't seen anything, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with that.
Thank you.
But it was a good turnout. We had about 8 teams and a lot of fun.
Easttown, Judy?
I don't have an update on that.
Kevin's not here for the peer report. Chair's report. Let's see, the budget referendum, if not everyone's aware, is hopefully scheduled for Tuesday, May 26th. Is that correct? Yes. And we'll be having a district meeting to send it to referendum officially on Friday, May 22nd. Is that right? May 22nd? At 3 o'clock. I would appreciate it if as many of us could attend as possible for that. It's just it's about a 5-minute meeting.
Yes.
to send it to referendum?
It's just in a different location, just because there's a dance company using the auditorium and they're not using this one, so it would be in the media center.
Okay. Meetings of the library, or the municipal library.
And just for information, it would be in June 15th.
And two things, that we had a referendum in Andover in May, I guess, and Dave Costanian is going to be elected as the representative to Andover, who will be joining us. Dave has been with us quite often, I think in all of our meetings, but also was a member and the liaison from the Finance Committee, from Andover's Finance Committee, and also worked with us and met with us, and was part of the negotiations that we had with the professional, with the teachers on contracts. So Dave is a very short learning curve when he joins us. But what leads me to a recognition of Ken, who is going to be, even though he'll probably be at our next meeting, I don't know, he can be in Hawaii or somewhere, or somewhere else. But just so everybody knows, Ken will be finishing 3 terms, 12 years of service to the RHAM Board, and we've had a plaque prepared that says in grateful appreciation for service on the Regional 8 School District, Regional School District Number 8 Board of Education. I'm getting choked up, Ken. Regional School District Number 8 Board of Education, and to the children of Andover, Hebron, and Marlboro, Kenneth Lee, from 2003 to 2015. So, Ken, I'd like to present you with this. Thank you for your service. Check with Jane on your pension too. 12 years ago. Make your best. All right, that's it for the chairperson's report, which brings us to action items. 8.1, approval. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the April 20th, 2015 regular meeting, the May 4th, 2015 district meeting, and the May 11th, 2015 special meeting, which includes enclosures 8.1A, 8.1B, and 8.1C. Motion made by Michael. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention. Thank you, motion passes. That brings us to the personnel actions. I'll do these in order. 8.2A. I need a motion that the Regional School District Number 8 Board of Education accept Ms. Schaus's resignation due to retirement effective June 30th, 2015, and approve the granting of 15% of all accumulated unused sick days up to a limit of 180 days of such accumulation pursuant to Article 36 of the RHAM Education Association agreement between the Board of Education and certified staff. What happened with that one? The motion? Are we blending contracts?
This is certified staff.
What's the REA?
That's the name of their contract.
It's the same for the,
Yes.
okay, I'm sorry. I thought the Education Association was a teacher.
It is. REA is the teacher's contract.
RHAM Education.
Okay, I'm confused, fine. Okay, so I need a motion, please. Someone.
Add them all, do them all together?
Are they all the same?
We have 2 resignations. I believe.
And 2 resignations and 2 retirements.
That's what I'll do too.
Okay, so I'll amend the motion to include the resignation as concluded in item 8.2B for Mr. Ruddick. So we will be doing the resignation of Mr. Ruddick and Ms. Schaus in one single motion.
Thank you, Cole.
Is that okay?
Cal is the third one.
Coles.
Coles. Is it 3 resignations?
3 retirements and 2
2 retirements
resignations.
and 2 resignations.
I'm confused.
I think
I don't know why I'm confused, but I'm confused.
AB is
telling me 3 retirements and two resignations, or one, and each one of mine says resignation due to retirement, resignation due to retirement, and resignation due to retirement. Am I missing something?
We have 3 resignations due to retirement and 2 resignations, period. Wagner and
Who's the other two?
Millicent are just the resignations.
You never put in your packet, so.
That's what I'm saying. I only have 3 resignations due to retirement. I don't have, that's why I'm confused.
I'll give you 2 more.
Oh, okay.
You have them?
I got it. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Turn off the cameras.
You want to do them all 5 at one time?
Yeah, well, we consider resignations and,
Okay, I'd like a motion to accept the resignations due to retirement of Mrs. Schaus,
Mr. Ruddick
Mr. Ruddick,
and Ms. Coles.
and Ms. Calls, and the resignation of Julian Milson and Deborah Wagner. Okay, motion made by Michael, is there a second? Second by Carol. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I'm sorry about that. Okay. That brings us to reports. Need a motion to receive and file the following reports: the levy payment schedule 8.3A, the cash flow reports 8.3B, the monthly financial reports 8.3C, student activity report enclosure 8.3B, student discipline report 8.3E, special education report 8.3F, sick day report enclosure 8.3G, curriculum instruction assessment and instructional technology report enclosure 8.38H, and cafeteria report 8.3I. Motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Pete. Is there a second? I'll second, just for clearness. Seconded by me. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Dean.
Let's go back to where talking about on items 3, 7, 730. Jane, thanks for the explanation. So 78,335 is the
Which report are you looking at?
the financial report. Is that what we're on that, right? 8 point.
What's 8 point what? 8.3C? Okay.
8.3C. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to take up so much time on this because it's just really important to me, but I don't understand the numbers, the 78,335. I think that's the number you said from the $100,000 that we have from the SRO, is that correct? And what was deducted, the $20,000 from the concrete work? Does that leave us to 78,335? Or maybe if you just know what year-to-date the 11,000 is and how we end up encumbered of 81,000, where is that number? Because the reason I'm asking that is those 4 categories under 700, we did not budget any money for. And I'm wondering how we're putting money into these accounts.
The 78,335 is the hot water heater. And that was transferred from the SRO account, which was a transfer that the board recommended.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, next workshop.
Sure. The year-to-date expended is 11,000.
Yes. In that 730, we have, I'm just going to give you a breakdown. I can't tell you what it is, I can only tell you the line item. We had some new equipment for the phys ed department. Now, let me back up. This original appropriation, there is a zero because probably it was one of those accounts where either A, nothing was budgeted, or B, it wasn't designated, broken down as me to figure out. So that's probably why I have a zero budget in new equipment. I don't know if they actually developed the budget for new equipment last year. So that's why I have a zero. That's why I have a zero original budget. So we spent, we had some phys ed new equipment at the middle school. Science, athletics, we had some new equipment, $6,100. And maintenance, we also had some new equipment for maintenance under that same line where the hot water heater is going to be. And RHAM's new equipment, 119. I'm most certainly get a breakdown of what they were, I just don't know off the top of my head what they're for. But that's the year-to-date expenditures for that 11,000. Their encumbrances are obviously the hot water heater and probably something else in that same line item. And then we have a maintenance, athletics, and encumbrance for $1,900. I don't know what they are because I just got line item. I don't have detail.
So on that line item, I'm just asking this question for accounting, I guess. We moved $100,000 from the SRO account, right? We had $100,000.
We had $100,000. We only moved. We only transfer that's ever been done. I think I might have done some minor transfers, but the only large transfer that was done approved by the board was the $78,000.
Got that.
So that so the remainder.
Yeah, that's where
the SRO is probably still sitting in the SRO account. But,
and what account is that in?
I don't, hold on. I should have it. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, so. There it is. So the,
Bob, remind me, 78,000 is the final number that we approved, or was I thought it was a higher number than 78?
No, that's the final number we approved.
Okay.
so there's still a balance. I have the right account of $21,000 in the SRO account.
What account is that?
It's under a 300 series, under professional services.
And so we have $35,000 left over in that account.
Now that account, that SRO account was 100,000?
It was 100,000.
To begin with? I don't have an original appropriation of about 85,000, so I might be looking at the wrong account.
That's okay. I just want to know where the, if you can come back, I don't want to tie it too much because I have a few other, but that would be a question I have, if we could get an answer on, that would be fantastic.
Any other questions?
Yeah, ground maintenance. Again, we're over 27,000, and I think we, this kind of goes back to our contract with Calarco. I mean, we know what our costs are. I just want to know, why we're over on that one.
Well, we also have, besides, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Besides Calarco, we had other ground maintenance that's gone on. The fee for Calarco is, I believe, more than what was in that budget. So, email with his itemized list of what he was going to do was more than what we originally had budgeted, but.
Well, that goes into my question, Jane. So we talked about that at our facilities committee meeting, that we had a purchase order for $5,000.
That was not part of his original.
It was not part of it?
No.
Yeah, I understand that.
Right.
And then we also had another
$5,000.
purchase order for $10,000 to go through to get fixed the drainage, right? So we had a $5,000 purchase order, but we had discussed $10,000. So where do we stand with that?
The 5 has been encumbered. Are you saying a 5 and a 10?
No, I'm saying
5 and
5, total of 10.
The 5,000 to him was approved.
Mhm.
The other 5, nothing's happened with that. And
So-
then whatever he originally said it was going to cost to take care of the fields, that has been encumbered as well.
Okay, so we're not touching that, right? It's
That's-
encumbered.
No, because that's a work in progress. I mean, that's going on. You can't kill off of something that's already going on.
But he had originally came back to us and said that there was going to be maybe more money, right, Bob?
For the field, yeah, and one of the things we're looking at is timing, because we're still using the fields, and will be for probably another 2 weeks, just because season's not over yet, and making up the rainouts and then playoff games. And that 2 weeks is an approximation.
I guess where I'm going with this is that if he needs to get in and do that extra work, we've given 5, and I know we've told him that we would proceed with, if he needed the additional 5, that he would get that additional $5,000.
Those are the 2 that we were working on, and that's as far as we've gotten with the fields. Anything additional to that, you'll have to come out of next year's budget.
Well, he hasn't gotten the second 5 either.
That's what I mean, the second
He
5.
hasn't got the second 5 for
He hasn't asked for it.
He has to pay. So,
I also just, my last comment is on this capital. I'm going to tell you right, that is, I understand the big picture here, but this goes in a different direction for what we all intended to do here. I want to go on record saying that I'm adamantly opposed that we're doing this. We have some serious problems with capital. We've taken this is the first year that we got $100,000, I'm sorry, second year that we got $100,000 to put towards capital. No, I apologize, first year. And to take it and not do anything is, again, this has been my bone of contention, that we're just continue to further this beast down the road and not get our safety. We talked about safety. And I think that's what the facilities committee has talked about. What are we going to do for addressing safety? We got a lot of issues that are safety issues, and we're not addressing them. Concrete being one of them. People walk on it all day long. So I'm not pleased with that. I think we designed that money to go towards capital, and we're using it for something else. And to go to Amy's point, we took money from speed bumps and everything else. We did have money. We did spend money this year on, because I have a report from you on that. And we did spend money that we did not budget for speed bumps. Mm-hmm. And you know.
Any more questions about the reports?
I have a question.
Yep. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just going through this because I'm kind of confused. It appears that 8.3C and 8.1 are the same report. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to vote on the transfers and then you have an action item.
Okay. Could you tell me about the overages with the coaches? It's $27,529 over for coaches.
Sure. They have participation fees and they're not all credit to the account. So we pay the coaches, we pay the officials, that type of thing. Those accounts are in a deficit until the rest of the participation fees come in.
Okay.
Pay for play.
Sorry, we don't, I didn't comment on the last date. Pay it play.
Okay. Thank you.
If, and obviously, if you don't pay to play, that account will stay there. Because you gotta pay the coaches. You gotta pay the officials.
Yeah, I can understand what's happening with the transfers, and I've seen it happen before with other public entities in other towns. And there, you know, when you think about it, snow removal and heating for the building, those are essentials for safety issues. We can't clear the roads and we can't clear the sidewalks effectively because there's an abundance of snow. So I, for one, am comfortable with that, and I'm hoping just in the long term that we'll have a better picture, a better perspective on what our real costs are for everything.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All those in favor of accepting the reports and filing, according to the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? One opposed? Any abstentions? Any motion passes. Okay, that brings us to item 8.4. 8.4, Kevin asked me to cover these for him. The first reading, you'll see in your packets, is 11/22. It's enclosure 8.4. So these are all updates of the policies, either statutory or revisions that have to be caught up to where the current rules are that apply to those. So if you have any comments or recommended changes, please send Kevin your comments. I think there's a meeting tomorrow, but if even thereafter, you can still send in your reports. Second one is item 8.5, second reading, which includes the school safety plan 1450, pesticide application on school property 3524, green cleaning programs 3525, appointments, certified staff 4112, employee use of the district's computer system 4,118.5 and 4,218.5, plan for minority staff replacement 4180 and 4280, school enumeration 5117, homeless children and youth 5120, student organization activities 5132, eligibility for participation in co-curricular account 5132A, social activities, social events 5133, disposition of funds of graduation class 5134A, health 5141, suicide prevention intervention 5141.2, graduation requirement 6146, class rank 6150, weighted grading for honors classes 6190, request for information 9180, board member electronic meeting participation at Board of Ed meetings 9405, board member electronic meeting participation at subcommittee meetings 9410, and presentations by board members 9415, and request for information 9420. Need a motion to accept those?
There's a motion to accept.
And a motion made by Joe.
Joe.
Joe, okay, is there a second? Second by Carol. Any discussion?
One on 9405, electronic meeting participation in Board of Ed meetings. I don't know if you're the right person, Mr. Chairman, but I don't think there should be a limitation on how many meetings a year. I think everybody's knows the intent that it's not to be abusive, but I'll speak for myself. Doing extensive traveling, I do like to participate. I wouldn't like to have a limit on my participation because just because I can't attend, I think we should be encouraging board members to participate in Board of Ed meetings. I would agree that we shouldn't have executive session. I would agree with that, but I don't think there should be any limitations on participation electronically.
Any other discussion? Carol?
Yeah, on the same item, 9405, it occurred to me as I read through, I think a lot of these measures are, we discussed previously, but I guess it more than one board member wants to call in for one meeting, how will that be handled? Do we
Clearly,
have electronic media to handle that?
it says you have to reach out to the administration 2 days prior. Is
Yeah,
that-
but how is that decision made if two people call in and say they want to attend remotely? How do you handle that?
You need more than one so that we have a conference call? Is that what you mean?
I guess, yeah.
You
Well,
don't have
we
the
maybe
answer.
limit the number of people who can call in. I guess
No,
that's what I'm saying.
understood. We don't have a conference calling feature, do we?
We do.
We do.
You know, you know, like,
It would be a question if it happened, how can we accommodate it?
Yeah, you have to have a
We have to have a conference
call.
call. We have to have a conference call.
But on a number of meetings, we kind of talked about that for quite a bit. Kind of went around a bunch of things of, you know, the more participation, the better.
I
And we
think,
kind of really didn't reach a decision amongst ourselves
Well,
with that.
I think where we have the flexibility is, right now, we need a policy because we're creating bad precedent. So we have a start policy. If we need to come by and we run into a situation where we need to specifically set out how we make accommodations for more than one or however, we have the flexibility to revise. I think it's most important that we at least have a policy. So it's, because right now we don't. And it certainly needs to happen. So,
I guess, going along with Joe, we can just strike that line where there's a limit to the number of meetings, hoping that we can get the participation of as many people as possible, as often as possible. And if it turns out to be 4 meetings in a year, I don't know that that makes a difference. So I would ask that that line be taken out.
And the other comment I had was the emergency meetings. I forgot about that. I mean, isn't the intent to get a hold of the board members if we have an emergency situation that, you know, thinking about that out loud, I mean, we all could be in different places. Did you guys discuss that, or, I mean,
Not really, but I think with emergency meetings, it's going to be the ability to set up
well, I think the
and
policy says no call-ins for emergency meetings.
I don't think
That's
it
the
ever-
policy that came, that's what came out of the policy committee, so there had to be a discussion. I would assume.
if you're trying to get quorum for an emergency meeting,
You have to have 6 people.
you gotta have 6 people.
present.
Yeah, president, but
Not by phone.
does it say president?
Well, our policy says, this policy says we have to have at least 6 members in attendance at a meeting. So, I mean, that's our quorum. Can't have a meeting if we don't have 6 members in attendance. And we can't, I don't know, the committee, at least in the early discussions, when I had discussions on this, I don't think there was ever an intent to complete a quorum by phone.
Okay.
I don't believe that there was ever a discussion to complete the quorum, but, because that's kind of the problem with the policy. Because if you allow quorum to be achieved by phone, then you run into the question of whether or not you're gonna have people present, and have people present at a meeting, all by speakerphone, with maybe just the chair sitting, and, or just one member and everybody else calling in. So, I mean, my recommendation would be, we vote on this, we accept it, and we recommend changes. This has been in the hopper now for almost 6 months. Kevin clearly said to me that there's been no board member interaction or feedback from the board on these items, and I know it's been kicking around in the committee for 4 months, or 5 months at least. So I would ask that we at least pass these, put these through. We have specific recommendations, and we come back and do a revision, and we bring those revisions in if it's the will of the board to do that. So,
Correction, I did send Kevin my comments. So.
okay, I'm reading this report. It's on my.
I know,
So,
but I did send him my comments.
Okay.
And then I think it was on the it was on the second reading before, and we pulled it for the purpose of,
and he revised it from that.
well, I don't, it's still in here.
Which one? Well, it's probably because the committee decided not to take it out.
The executive session, I think, is what came out.
Which one is it?
It's 9405. Because
Which one
I was
to
in
come out?
policy when I was in policy when we were talking about this.
For what to come out? Which one?
The electronic participation. Because,
But you're saying something was supposed to, which one you had crossed out? You're crossing out which one? I can't
oh, I'm
see
sorry,
that
so
far.
9405, the third
Right.
bullet down, is the members should be allowed to call no more than 3 meetings a year.
Okay.
So if we
All right, well, I'm gonna put it to a vote. If it doesn't pass, then we'll take it out and then we'll revise the motion. We need, as a board, to have this policy. More importantly, we can revise it and change it, recommendations to the committee. Mike can take the feedback back to the committee after this and revise it if necessary. But I think it could be a mistake if we don't accept it, if we don't adopt it, so.
Well, I agree with you, but I just think, why would you go the other way with that? Why would you restrict somebody from participating? Why
It's not restricting participating when you have the responsibility of setting up a board meeting, an emergency meeting, or a special meeting, or in some cases where you've been quite vocal about you want us to meet regularly twice a month. Trying to get a quorum in a lot of meetings is a problem. And when you sit in the capacity of trying to make sure you have enough members to do the business of the board, and finding out who's going to come, and if people know they can call in, you get 2 call in, and 3 or 4 just can't be here for whatever reason, personal reason, you don't have a quorum. So it's a lot easier said than done. I recognize your situation, Joe, and a lot of times I'm in your same situation. So if the 3 times is going to be a burden, and we have summer coming up or whatever, and you have travel, we have plenty of time to fix this before we get into September. So
just debating it.
no, understood, and I understand what you're saying. I think we need to have a policy because we're going down a bad slope right now from Joe. So any other comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any two opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes 4-2. Okay, that brings us to discussion and possible action regarding Chartwell's pricing 8.6. Al?
The proposal for tier 1 meals would be $265, tier 2 meals would be $350, and tier 3 meals would be $340 for the upcoming year. Again, this is just to ensure that we remain profitable and that the school lunch program doesn't cause burden on the school district. And I think that two of the reasons for this, number one, is the changes we have to make in our card, and to ensure that the participation in the food certification, and that's an important consensus for me.
Any questions on this?
No. The reports we're looking at here, I mean, they are profitable, aren't they?
They are, but I think that going forward, as we start to see changes in enrollment, especially in the middle school, there'll be fewer people participating. Participation in the lunch program is somewhere around 35 to 38%. And after extensive discussion with them, it was felt that the Chartwells had recommended that we increase the price of lunches. I think one of the things too with the profitability this year is that we made a change in a la carte probably in the middle of the third quarter, so that some of the profit that you see there was from the old a la carte program.
So Bob, you need a motion to accept the proposal to increase the lunch for 2015-16 by 20 cents? Is that the motion or?
To increase the price of the meal by 20 cents.
How was 20 cents decided?
Hopefully something that will carry us over the next couple of years, because I think for 3 years since we've had a price increase. So we're looking to kind of go prospectively, so we might have to increase the prices for the rest of the year. And I think that we try to do numbers so that taking into consideration
Now, who's the staff? Whose staff mans this? So is that part of the increase? Is it a staff, cost of living increase for them? How does that come into the equation?
I don't know what the salaries are. The salaries are paid by Chartwell's. We do not, the way the contract is written, we just say that they will operate certain costs, they will make certain investments into the program, and guarantees that the cost is nothing. And to let you know, in order to facilitate a lot of the work that he's done, what he's done is he's periodically reduced staff and adjusting staff based on participation, with food used, food served, and so that he's constantly adjusting the hours and all the staff.
I want to point out with the profit, are they for profit?
I'm sorry?
Are they a for-profit organization?
Chartwell's is I think the parent company's listed on one of the stock exchanges.
It's a $41,000 surplus, or not surplus, profit this year. Yeah. Does it go $41,000 profit? Is that for us, or is that Chartwell's profit?
That's profit for us.
Us? It's coming to us?
Yes. And we use that to do some things like offset the cost of janitorial, because they cause that rubbish removal.
Part of one of the estimated revenues that.
Say that again?
Part of one of the estimated revenues that you asked me about earlier in the budget projection.
So this is the cafeteria basically more revenue neutral? Maybe we make it a little, maybe we lose a little, but it's really not a whole lot.
If you really charge all the cost of the part of the cafeteria, I think that you'd find that we could lose some money. We're trying to make those revenue responsible.
So I need a motion to increase or accept the proposal to increase lunches for 2015-16 year by 20 cents. Moved by Carol, is there a second? Second by Tom. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? 2 opposed, any abstentions? Joe? I voted for it. Oh, okay, I didn't see any. So motion passes. Discussion and possible action, 8.7, discussion and possible action regarding a gift of baseball batting cage net from the RHAM Sports Boosters, which is item 8.7 in your packets. With policy is in front of you. Mention this. No, it's on the back. It's on the back. You need this copy.
Policy 33, 35, 50. If accepted, a gift must be used for the educational benefit of the students and satisfy and the fitness consistent without the unanticipated cost of the district. Replacement restrictions on the use of the program with suitable use meeting the instruction needs of the school will not be inappropriate or harmful to the best educational interests of the students, will not imply endorsement of any business required, and will not conflict with any board policy, administrative regulations, or law.
Any other questions for us? I'd like a motion to accept with gratitude the RHAM Sports Boosters gift of $760 for the baseball batting cage net as listed in item number 8.7. Motion by Carol, second by Joe. Any discussion?
I would just also add to the comment, Mr. Chairman, that Sports Boosters has been very generous. This is the second donation they've made this year. $6,000 was for a scoreboard. So, almost $7,000 given back to the school by the Sports Boosters program.
Any other discussion or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Brings us to item 8.8. 8.8, yeah, one's done. 8.8, discussion and possible action regarding the 2014-15 budget transfers, which is item 8.8 in your packets. So I'll ask for a motion to accept, a motion to transfer from salaries. How do we break up this motion, Bob? Specifically, does it matter if we say it's detailed in here or? Okay. So we can say, I didn't break them up and separate them, but a motion to transfer $216,189 from salaries plus employee benefits of $211,552 and $22,020 and $21,487. And from tuition all other for a total of $473,813, and transferring those amounts to purchase services in the amount of $427,741, supplies $22,020, and property $24,052, so that the total amount being transferred from and to or equal to $473,813. Is there a motion? Okay, motion made by Michael. Is there a second? Second by Carol. Discussion? Discussion or comments?
I have some.
Yep,
I just don't think you can make this in good faith and good sound judgment. We have some serious questions and concerns here regarding some of these accounts. Removing another $470,000, and we've raised some legitimate questions to our business manager, and I think she's going to, get those answers for us. But I don't think you can vote on this tonight. That's my opinion. We're not doing the district justice by moving the money around without really fully understanding where it's actually going to until we get those questions cleared up.
Any other questions? Comments? We'll call the vote. All those in favor of the transfers as noted in the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 2 opposed. Any abstentions? Motion passes. Brings us to information items in your packet of 9.1A and 9.1B. The high school and middle school calendar of events and high school middle school reports. If you have any questions, you can submit those to the administration. That brings us to item number 10, public comments. Does anybody here would like to make any public comments at this time? Okay, hearing none. That brings us to item number 11. I'd like a motion for the purposes of discussion and possible action regarding the legal matter, negotiations, personnel matters, discussion of security and superintendent's contract, which is enclosure 11. And I'd also like to invite the superintendent to participate in that executive session. Is there a motion? Motion made by Ken, second by Carol. Any discussion?
I would just ask the superintendent to excuse me, talk over the contract.
Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor of going to executive session, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're in executive session at 8:10. I'd like to request a 5-minute recess so that we can get this. 10 minutes. Oh, yes. We're going to take 10 minutes of recess, 15 minutes of recess, so that the kids can boot down. We also have a cake here also as well. So we have cakes. I'll hold this over to the kids and everybody can have cake. Cake for everyone. Let them